All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is I, Jolting Joe, and this is the Jolting Joe Sports Show coming to you on Tuesday, May the 31st, a day after Labor Day, here on my back porch. And what are you drinking? What are you smoking? I've been wanting to try one of these. This is a cigar, excuse me, it says seasoned with Maker's Mark. It's Dominican. But it's a Ted's Bourbon cigar. I'll give you a little peek there. Alright. Comes in like a little maker's tube. It's got the wax there, or faux wax anyway. So that's what it comes with. It's okay. It's just okay. Yeah. It's got an interesting taste to it. I think there is a little bit of a whiskey flavor in it, but it's kind of weird. Alright. Speaking of whiskey, figured if I was going to smoke a whiskey cigar, I got to have some bourbon. So this is some single barrel Four Roses. And my ice is already starting to melt because it's freaking hot as balls out here. Alright, there we go. Get it. Yeah, I gotta get a good healthy pour there. Alright. Cheers, everybody. Alright, so decided to go ahead and do the show today because hopefully everybody had a good Memorial Day yesterday. I went and played golf. Went and got country club wasted at the country club. And I'm not a member. Just got a summer job working in the pro shop, so got to play some free golf, which is the best kind of golf. And not only was it free golf, but I had a good time. Went out there and played yesterday and on Memorial Day, so that was entertaining. First time I got to play that course, and had a good time. And did not break 100 because I'm not very good. But I did hit 2 pars on 2 of the par 3s, which made me happy, and they were legit pars, no mulligans or anything like that. So I was very happy about that. But this weekend, we had, of course, on Sunday, we had the Indianapolis 500. We had the Coca-Cola 600. Also, if you're an F1 fan, we had Monaco as well. So I figure I'd talk a little auto racing today, just for something different, and because that's what's going on. Of course, I'm in my Astros gear, though, because they won yesterday. Framber, complete game. 2 hits, 1 run. This is kind of a weird cigar. Just throwing it out there. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, I got to try it. Now I've tried it. Nah, it's probably going to be the last one I smoke. But anyway, so that's definitely weird. It's almost. Sorry, I digress. Every time I take a sip, it's acid-esque. I don't know for you cigar smokers out there, smoke acids, like the blondies and stuff. This one's not sweet, but it's definitely got like a flavor in there. Kind of weird. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted with that. But anywho, so we had that, and then real quick, as far as so a lot of baseball yesterday, a lot of day baseball yesterday for Memorial Day, so that's always good. Astros there in Oakland. And then NBA, the Boston won it in Game 7 against the Heat in Miami, as a matter of fact. And I didn't see any of the game, to be completely honest with you, but I kind of read about it, saw the highlights and stuff, and it looked like Miami was kind of getting their ass kicked there at the end, and then decided that they were going to play some basketball and actually made the game close. But then Boston decided, you know what, we're going to play now, and decided that they were going to step up and win the game, and they did. And so it's going to be the Golden State Warriors taking on the Boston Celtics. Golden State, I think, is going to win this damn thing again, just because they're Golden fucking State. It's just kind of what they do. Boston plays some pretty good defense. I think they can give Golden State a run for their money if they really buckle down and play some good defense. But I will say Warriors in 6. Yeah, I'm going to go Warriors in 6 in that one. I think Boston should at least win a couple games in Boston. I just don't know, or they'll win one in Boston and win one on the road. It'll be something like that, but it'll probably be a 4-2, thing. That's what I'm going to go with. I have no idea. We'll just see what happens. And as far as hockey goes, I know the Rangers, they won. And let me see if I can pull that up real quick, too, with the NHL, because I don't know exactly the playoff pairings here, to be completely honest with you. So, let's go to the ESPN, and we'll go to the NHL here. And tonight is going to be game one of the Western Conference Finals. It's going to be the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Colorado Avalanche. I don't follow hockey all that much. I do like hockey, and if there's a hockey game on, I will watch it. And I love the playoffs, just haven't got to watch a whole lot of it. Edmonton won the Battle of Canada. It's been a long time since the Canadian teams won the Stanley Cup. I don't know how long, but it's been really long, like 20 plus years or more. As far as that goes. But they're going to be playing the Colorado Avalanche, which I think are pretty damn good. So we'll see what happens with that. And then let's see, the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be Tampa versus New York. Kind of like Tampa in that one. Tampa's been on a roll, man. Tampa won the Battle of Florida, beating the Panthers the last round, and then the Rangers disposed of the Carolina pretty handedly last night. I think it was like 6-2, 6-3, something like that. See, that was Monday night. Yeah, 6-2. Yeah, 6-2. Rangers ended up winning. So we'll see how that thing shake out. So we got those are going to be the conference finals for the for hockey. And then we got the NBA. You think we got the NBA finals coming up, starting I think tomorrow. No, June 2nd. I think it starts Thursday. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, Thursday, June the 2nd will be game one. 8 o'clock tip. Seems a little late, even for the East Coast people, man. It's like 9 o'clock tip. Well, the Warriors are West Coast team, though. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, shit. Anyway. I'll see how much I'll watch of that. I don't know. But I am going to the Astros-Royals series in KC. It'll be my Astros road trip this season. So I've never been to Kauffman Stadium. Really want to check out the waterworks, check out the fountains. So they're going to do Friday night. We're going to get a game Friday night, check out the fireworks, and then go to the game Sunday. It was actually for a day game. Check out the day game. Because if it ain't April, you don't get a day game in Houston with the roof open. So it's always good to get some day baseball outside. But I was hoping to see Zach Greinke pitch because he was actually in line to pitch on Friday, if not Saturday. But he is on the 15-day injured list with a strained pectoral muscle or something like that. Something to that effect. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I want to say that's what it was. Yeah. Oh, flex. That's what it was. Hold on a second. Flexor strain. Right flexor strain. There you go. Right flexor strain. So he's going to be on the 15-day UDL, so nothing there as far as that goes, unfortunately. But I was looking forward to watching him pitch again. I just love Zach Greinke. He's a goddamn national treasure. But unfortunately, we'll not get to see him pitch because he's on the 15-day injured list with a strained, whatever I just said, flexor strain. So there you go. And he did pitch Sunday, so I guess that's where the strain came in. But any hoozle. So, there you go. Anything else going on in the world of sports? Still a couple weeks away from, let's see, we got the Belmont coming up this weekend. Not that anybody cares because we have no Triple Crown winner. But Belmont's coming up. I'll probably throw some money down on it for Stitch and Giggles. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Rich Strike is really like, if he's going to finish in 5th or something. I don't even know how many horses are in the Belmont this Saturday, to be completely honest with you. They usually don't run too many, just because it's the longest of the 3 races. It's 1.5 miles, so Derby 1.25 miles. Preakness is 1 3/16 miles, so just shy of 1.25 miles. and then you've got the Belmont, which is sitting there at mile and a half, and that's always the hard one. And so sometimes you get horses that skip the Preakness and blah blah blah. We went over that in the previous episode. Really they should just do the first weekend in May, first weekend in June, first weekend in July. Just hell with it all. But what are you gonna do? All right, that's just my own personal opinion. So, let's see if we get anything else. Well, if anything, I think of anything, we'll bring it up. So let's get into this auto racing. And shit, I think his name was Erickson. I gotta look up the damn Indy winner. I forgot his name already because I don't follow auto racing. So let's just see, and then we'll get into there we go, Indy 500 results. Yep, Marcus Ericsson. There we go. Okay, thought it was Ericsson. Boop. All right. So first of all, as far as me and auto racing go, I'm from Texas. Do a lot of NASCAR. When I was in college, and when kind of NASCAR was in an uptick of popularity there in the early 2000s, around 2002, 2003, 2004, kind of in that neighborhood there, NASCAR was really on an uptick, and I kind of got into NASCAR and went and saw an actual stock car and got to ask questions about it. Was playing my video game, with the Winston Cup back in the old days, before they went to the chase. And, just being in Texas, being in the South, and there's a lot about NASCAR. Of course, NASCAR started with the bootleggers trying to outrun the cops. And, you get Daytona and stuff like that. And I will say, as far as NASCAR is concerned, I do like NASCAR. I do think I think it's an exciting thing. I think they need to do something about the restrictor plate races, just to be completely honest with you, just because the cars get so grouped up together that you're just inviting disaster, which I kind of think the fans want to see. But as a race car driver, and we'll talk about this with Coca-Cola 600 Sunday night, sometimes you just can't get out of the way. You get caught up in the shit, and it just sucks. I think with NASCAR, too, it does depend on the track, because Daytona's exciting, Talladega's exciting, I think Bristol's exciting. I've just never been a fan of Martinsville. It's the other short track. It's only half a mile. Bristol's only half a mile track. But some of your bigger, things you can have a lot bigger leads, like California, big 2 mile track, Pocono at 2.5, the Brickyard, of course, at 2.5. So you can have, but I think you get a lot of competitiveness in NASCAR. There's the old Days of Thunder, Rubbins Racing quote. He hit me. He didn't hit you. He rubbed you. Rubbins Racing. All that kind of stuff. So I dig NASCAR. It's fun to watch. I always enjoyed it. Never really watch Indy racing unless it's Indy 500. And then F1. I never really got into F1 either. But started watching Drive to Survive on Netflix. Kind of see what all the fuss was about, because I know some of my friends actually watch it. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of interesting. So, first F1 race that I actually watched was the Miami race, since it was live and since it was here in the States. I actually did watch that one, and that was probably not the best race to watch for your first race, because apparently drivers didn't like the track. There was issues with the tires. There were some other issues kind of with F1 and the track being up to F1 standards. It wasn't a particularly exciting race. It wasn't a particularly close race, but you kind of got this, but you got the sense of it and everything. As far as kind of all that kind of fun stuff comes about. So like I said, it was probably not my favorite race, but I will say this. So as far as NASCAR goes, and like I said, I know Miami was not the best race to compare this to, but some of these races, it seems like the most exciting part of an F1 race is the start, because they're so close together. You got 20 cars right there together, But then once people get paced out, yes, you do have some overtaking and things like that. But a lot of times when a guy gets in front, he's in front, and that's just kind of it. For me, I think it's kind of more fun to watch some of the guys come from behind the field, or if there's a wreck or somebody spins out, for people to come up and move forward and stuff. And the overtaking is kind of interesting to watch because the way that those guys are elite. I mean, it is a more elite sport because you're literally racing. I mean, you're hitting 220 and then you're going down to 40 miles an hour. So it is more pure racing, and they are the best of the best. And I'm not saying anything about the talent level or anything like that as far as that goes, because that's kind of what it is. But I do like the fact that the F1 races are shorter. Like, I think that Miami Grand Prix, I mean, I think there was one caution, maybe two cautions, maybe something like that. And then the rest of the time it ran, and that thing was done in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it's like, oh shit, man, break! I didn't even get time to get drunk. Shit, all right. So I did like that, because NASCAR, we'll talk about the Coca-Cola 600. That thing went on for 5 hours last night. Nobody wants to be there for 5 hours. So I do like the fact that Formula One's truncated, man. It's just like, boom, you're over. That's like a soccer game. It's like, okay, we know how long we're going to be here for, and then your day's over, and then go do something else. And that was fantastic. So anyway, all that said, F1 race was in Monaco, which Monaco is always kind of their premier race in F1. It's kind of like the Daytona 500 or the Indy 500 here in the States. That's kind of the big one because the Monaco's so old. They've been racing it for so long. And also they're in Monte Carlo, for crying out loud. It's like, having a race, in LA through the Hollywood Hills, or through Beverly Hills. You got all the rich people, all the celebrities, you got the yachts, you got the this, you got the that. It's all glamour, and parties and and all that kind of stuff like that. And they've been doing, and the circuit's still the same that they do. But I didn't get a chance to watch the race, but I did read some stuff about it. Number one, the weather was kind of shitty, apparently. There was some drizzle. They were trying to push the race back for safety, but then they still raced anyway. And apparently they were racing behind the safety car, so you couldn't overtake anybody. It ended up just being a really boring freaking race until the end of the race, when they were able to actually race and do stuff, and there was some overtaking and things like that, and it actually got good. But I've heard too, and of course you F1 fans will know, there's talk of Monaco even losing the race if they don't make a couple of changes, because there's a couple of things that Monaco does that other F1 venues do not do. So they're able to produce their own show, which normally doesn't happen. Monaco also thinks that, so it's really hard to overtake at Monaco, which does make for a boring race. So they're trying to kind of do stuff like to do all that kind of stuff. All right, but shit, who won Monaco? Was that Perez? Perez won Monaco? Let's see. I will look it up. Let's see, F1 Monaco results. It was Perez. Yeah, Perez of Red Bull ended up winning that race. Sainz finished second for Ferrari, then Verstappen finished third, Leclerc fourth, and Russell fifth to run out your top five there. But Sergio Perez, I believe it's Sergio. I know I've seen him on the show. Yep, Sergio. Sergio Perez was able to win Monaco. So that was kind of the first race the other day on Sunday, which of course is a famous race. Like I said, it's a big one as far as F1's concerned. And then it was the Indy 500 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and after the pandemic and everything, they were able to get 250. That place holds 250,000 people, man. That is a big track. And of course, traditional racetrack, left turns, All right, and just so if you're not a racing fan, Indianapolis, it's they call it the Brickyard because originally it was paved with brick, and the start-finish line to this day is still brick. But and then back in it was 90, I want to say it was like 95 or 96 when NASCAR kind of first started racing at Indy. Uh, then Dale Jarrett was the one that started the tradition of kissing. Whoop! I just knocked the camera pod over. There we go. All right. But started the tradition of actually kissing the bricks. And then the milk apparently goes back to the 1930s. There was a driver, I can't remember his name, but he won it. And then he won the race. And he was drinking a glass of buttermilk, and they were like, "Why are you drinking buttermilk?" And he said, "Because my mother always told me that buttermilk was a good drink to have on a hot day." And so he won it, and then he kind of did it. I think he won it one or two more times, and he drank his buttermilk. And then from I think until then the tradition really didn't get cemented until about 1946. I think it was like after World War II, and then ever since then it has become tradition that the winner of the Indianapolis 500 drinks milk, and so that's where that tradition actually started. And then they do ask every driver what type of milk that they would like, which you have three choices: is whole milk, 2%, or skim. But they do ask all the drivers what if they win the race, what milk they would prefer. And so if I was an Indy racer, I'd have to get chocolate milk. I don't think you can do chocolate milk though, but chocolate milk. But yeah, those cars were hitting like 220, 225, which is stupid, crazy, insane. Uh, and the thing about Indy too is, I mean, that thing's then 500 miles, so it's a lot longer than an F1 race. But it went relatively quickly. Not too many cautions or anything like that. A couple of wrecks, nothing major or anything like that. But as far as the whole race is concerned, it kind of looked like Dixon looked like he was going to win the thing. And then and there was like, man, how many laps were left? I think there was like 10 to go, something like that, maybe a little less. He was in the 20, around the 20 mark, because the last 20 laps are always kind of the crazy time in the Indy 500. And he got caught speeding on pit row and had to take a drive-through penalty on that, and that put him out of contention. And then Ericsson got to the lead, and there was, I think, just 4 laps left, and there was a caution. Jimmy Johnson spun out, hit the wall, and then Indy red flagged the race, which means they brought all the cars to the pit road and they stopped everything. And I think that's kind of a cool deal, because like in NASCAR, they changed the rules because fans were so sick and tired of races finishing under a caution flag. It's not entertaining. It's not fun. It's like, ooh, your guy won the race under caution. So they added the overtime rule, saying we'll run extra laps, and then it's a green-white checker, meaning you get the green flag with the white flag for 1 to go, and well, actually I think it's 2 laps. But I think it's like a green-white checker. So you get the green flag, and then you get the white flag for the final lap coming back around, and then you get the checker. And that's pretty much it. But you'll stay out on the cautions. But what they did in Indy, instead of staying out for the caution and just kind of freezing the laps, they just brought everybody into the pits. They red flagged the race because they did not want the race to end under caution, because this is the Indianapolis 500, for crying out loud. You don't want your biggest race of the year to end under caution. And so as a result of that, they red flagged everybody, and so then they got everybody onto the track, and then they did 2 caution laps, so that brought the final down to 2, and then you got basically a green-white checker, because Ericsson held off a challenge. It looked like he might end up, losing the race. Guy made a really good push at him. Ericsson held him off. Ericsson came around, won the race, and that was your Indy 500 champion. So it was a pretty entertaining race. I do dig it. All right, and then finally, that brought us to the Coca-Cola 600. Now, I did not watch any of the race because I was drinking and eating a pig. That's a whole other story for another day, though. But anyway, I did see the crash. I think it was Blaney. They got into the crash. He got loose on the apron, came up, and then took out about 12 cars. The time of the race was over 5 hours. It was a long time. There was 18 cautions in the race. So that's kind of a good comparison of all three of the different types of racing. Like I said, I think F1 is the more pure of the racing because they have, the Grand Prix tracks or zigs and zags. You're not just making left turns. Whereas with NASCAR and Indy, for that matter, with Indy cars, but the Indy cars do run Grand Prix as well. It's just that Indy's a traditional racetrack. But NASCAR is definitely just, get on and, go in a circle for, for a long time. I've ran some of the tracks, you got, the D-shaped tracks, and Pocono's a triangle, and Brickyard's a rectangle, and, and then you got, Darlington's the egg. But, most of them are, these big, or just kind of standard, circuits that you run. But like I said, NASCAR I think is a lot more exciting just because of the door-to-door racing, and then the fact that you'll get a bunch of cars just swept up in something. You'll have a big one, the old big one. I think fans kind of really dig that. But then as a race car driver, you're like, and then Indy's just kind of fun to watch just because it's Indianapolis 500. But once again, you're just for 500 miles. And then F1, like I said, it's definitely the purest form of racing. A lot of downshifting and upshifting and slowing down and speeding up and straightaways and chicanes and hairpin turns and, and things like that. So it's definitely more, and like a hell of a lot quicker, man. You're over and done in like 2.5 hours. It's fantastic. These guys only run like 60, 70 laps. It takes them like a minute and a half to run a lap. It's fantastic. So as far as that goes, so yeah, it's kind of like a good racing weekend for Memorial Day, as far as that's concerned. So there you go. But yeah, like I said, I still like NASCAR, but trying to get in the Formula One a little bit here, and then Indy's kind of Indy. So, but once again, that's kind of a good one, and being a good old being here from Texas, I always liked AJ Foyt because he was a good old Texas boy, and he's the only person to ever win the Daytona 500, the Indianapolis 500, and 24 hours at Le Mans. But he has hit the trifecta. He's the only driver in history to win all three of those races. But AJ Foyt's kind of like Tony Stewart. He'll drive it. He can drive it. He could. Well, AJ drove anything with wheels. He could have driven anything with wheels on any surface. He didn't give a shit. Stock cars, Indy cars, Formula One cars. Didn't freaking matter to AJ. AJ was going to run, so he's one of the greatest race car drivers of all time. As far as that's concerned. So, not real sure why he never got in the Formula One, but I'll have to look that up. I heard his ego was involved because he was going to be number 2 in a Formula One, and his ego wouldn't allow it, which sounds like AJ. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. Being a competitive race car driver, but that's kind of it. So, that's pretty much all I got for today, guys. Like I said, I'm going to hit the road trip to KC this weekend, so I won't talk to you until next week. I figured just get in here this week. We got U.S. Open coming up. NBA Finals start this week. And we got the conference finals for the Stanley Cup. And then, we still got baseball going, of course, and baseball's going to be going for a good long while here. But it's Memorial Day, so now you can start worrying about your teams. That's what they always tell you. Don't start worrying until Memorial Day. And so now we're getting ready to enter the dog days of summer here in June, July, and August. And then we'll kind of see what happens, and then you really start paying attention in September. You can't really start paying attention. There's kind of like 3 times you start paying attention to baseball. You start paying attention around Memorial Day, you start paying attention around All-Star break, and then when September hits. And then that's kind of when you really start, and September is when you really start scoreboard watching. as far as that goes. And nothing really going on with the NFL. OTAs and shit. Done schedule release already, so not much with that until training camp starts. And so that's about it. All right, y'all. Remember, find me on Twitter. It's at JJ Sports Show 63. That's at JJ Sports Show 63. And cheers, everybody. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's week. Have a good weekend coming up. Got a short work week this week, so everybody have fun. Enjoy themselves. See you next time. All right.